told him his dreams were too big for a boy with empty pockets. They said success was only for the lucky, the rich, the connected. But what they didn't know was this hunger made him dangerous. While the world slept, he worked. While others laughed, he planned. And one day, the same people who ignored him couldn't stop watching him. This is not a story about luck. This is a story about a decision that changed everything. From poverty to power, this is where it begins. The night he turned 18, the power went out again. Darkness swallowed the single-room house where he lived with his mother and 2 younger sisters. The fan stopped. The street noises outside faded into an uneasy silence. He sat on the floor beside a flickering candle, staring at cracked walls and a dripping ceiling, thinking about how many birthdays had passed just like this, without cake, without gifts, without certainty about tomorrow. His name didn't matter. In his neighborhood, everyone was known by their struggle. The tea seller's son, the rickshaw driver's daughter, the orphan boy, and he was simply the poor one. Poverty wasn't just an absence of money. It was a voice that whispered limits into his ears every single day. This is your life. This is all you'll ever be. School was a battlefield. Some days he went hungry. Some days he skipped class to work at a roadside stall, washing dishes for a few coins. He watched other children talk about dreams like they were normal: doctor, engineer, pilot, while he silently calculated how much flour his mother could buy with today's earnings. Yet even in that crushing routine, a small fire burned inside him. He didn't know exactly what he wanted to become, only that he refused to become hopeless. One evening, while cleaning tables at a small cafe, he found a customer had forgotten a book. It was about success, about mindset, about people who had started with nothing. He returned it the next day, but the man told him to keep it. That book became his secret teacher. Under dim light, after exhausting shifts, he read every page slowly, carefully, like each word was food for his starving confidence. The book didn't give him money. It gave him something far more dangerous to poverty: belief. He began waking up earlier, working harder, saving every extra coin instead of spending it. While others laughed at him for reading instead of resting, he used his phone to watch free lessons whenever he could get internet. He learned basic skills, then advanced ones, failing countless times. Some nights he fell asleep with his phone in his hand, too tired to even stand up. Years passed. The struggle didn't end quickly. In fact, it grew heavier. His mother fell ill. Medical bills piled up. Relatives said, "Forget dreams. Get a full-time job. Accept reality." For a moment, he almost did. The fear of losing everything stood right in front of him. But then he remembered that candlelit birthday night. He remembered the promise he had made to himself in silence. This cannot be my final chapter. He took a risk. A small one at first. A project he worked on for free just to prove he could deliver. Then another. Then another. Most people never saw those invisible victories. They only saw him still wearing the same worn shoes, still walking the same dusty streets. What they didn't see was his confidence quietly growing where doubt once lived. One rejection turned into 10. 10 failures turned into lessons, slowly, painfully. The returns began. The first real payment he earned online wasn't big, but it felt like a miracle. He held the phone in shaking hands, staring at the screen, realizing that for the first time in his life, money had arrived because of his skill, not his survival labor. From that day on, everything changed, but not instantly. Success did not crash into his life like a storm. It entered like sunrise, slow, steady, undeniable. He upgraded his tools, invested in learning, worked without counting hours. While others measured time in entertainment, he measured it in effort. He paid off his mother's medical bills. He fixed the leaking roof. He bought groceries without calculating each coin. His sisters went back to school with new shoes on their feet. And still, he stayed quiet. No celebration, no announcement, because the hunger to grow was still louder than the desire to show off. Years later, people who once dismissed him began asking questions. How did you do it? What changed? They expected a shortcut, a trick, a lucky break. He smiled and said nothing complicated, just uncomfortable truths. Discipline when no one is. Watching faith when there is no evidence. Work when rest feels easier. And patience when quitting seems logical. The same streets that once mocked him now watched him walk with purpose. He didn't forget hunger. He didn't forget cold nights. He didn't forget the candle in the darkness. Those memories didn't weaken him, they armored him. Power did not make him arrogant. It made him responsible. He started helping others learn what he once struggled to understand. He hired from the same neighborhood that once defined his limits. He taught the same kids who once laughed at his books that their background was not a prison. It was raw material, and the truth is, His story is not rare because of luck. It is rare because of endurance. Many people want the feeling of success, but very few are willing to survive the season of invisibility, the phase where effort looks foolish, the stage where your dreams sound unrealistic to small-minded ears, the time where quitting feels smarter than continuing. Poverty did not defeat him, it trained him. Today, when he turns off the lights in his home, darkness no longer scares him, because he remembers the boy who once sat in it and chose to rise anyway. And if a single decision can do that over time, then so can yours. You may not be rich today, you may be surrounded by limits, you may feel stuck in a life that doesn't reflect your dreams. But power is not given at the finish line, it is built in the struggle. The question is not whether life will be hard. It already is. The real question is whether you will let the hardship define you or refine you. From poverty to power is not a miracle. It is a choice, repeated every single day. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, subscribe for more content to help you build your own power.